Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Collection Marvel's Jubilee. We're having a look at the Toys R Us exclusive Magneto. Magneto comes with one of the arms needed to build Jubilee. That's it. It doesn't look like it comes with any sort of display stand or anything like that. Packaging is the same packaging that we're going to get with all the figures. I kind of think it's a little bland. I wish it kind of was a little bit more. I liked when Hasbro was doing the Marvel Legends, and it was like the back card. It was a disastrous card because it didn't ever tell you the name of the characters on it, but I kind of prefer that over this window box treatment that they give these new figures. Speaking of box, on the back of the box, back of the packaging, pose requires hand support. Once again, there's Magneto. Decades of persecution forged the master of magnetism into a zealot crusading for mutant supremacy. But since joining Scott Summers' team of mutant revolutionaries, he has a vision, or has his vision, for mutant liberation evolved. Spot really should have added a question mark to that, or at least the way I said it, because it's actually, has his vision for mutant liberation evolved, question mark. I kind of said that like Christopher Walken there for a second. Other figures available to build Jubilee, you would need Strife, Magneto, Marvel's Cyclops, and Storm. Wolverine has been invited to the party, though apparently he's been asked to bring nothing. Everybody else is bringing something. One person is bringing the salad, one person is bringing the potato salad, because you can't just have salad. Somebody needs to bring potato salad, especially if it's a barbecue. That's potato salad worthy. Wolverine apparently has been asked to bring nothing. That probably means he's going to be working the grill. Spot's going to take a break, ridiculousness aside, and we're going to get this opened up. Certainly when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Marvel Legends Infinite series, Magneto. Don't go anywhere, guys. There's more heading your way. Stay tuned. With Magneto, you'll get one of two things. Item number one, you'll get yourself a pamphlet that shows you the assembly instructions for building Jubilee. Spot knows nothing when it comes to manufacturing or retail end of things, but I would say, you know what? You could save yourself a little bit of money by not marking off what's actually on these pamphlets. Consider this, you're actually going to have to spend extra money to print the flyer to have the check mark on it. If you left the check mark off, you could have saved a little dinero. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. But you get a little pamphlet showing you how to build a Jubilee. Not that you would really need to. Jubilee is so extremely easy to put together, as Magneto comes with one of her arms. A little tiny arm. Taking the very tiny Jubilee, and we'll put a very small pin into her shoulder. I don't like how small these pins are. That just worries me. It just worries me on levels that you probably don't even realize, but imagine that they are there. There's Jubilee with one of her arms. I feel like, yeah, the arm's not even properly in there. Probably have to twist it a little bit. There we go. There's Jubilee. She's pretty much done. I essentially only need the head and the other arm, and she's done. That's probably one of the easiest build-a-figures that I probably have ever done. Jubilee. Jubilee, folks. There she is. Moving along to Magneto. He's ugly. I'm gonna just be honest and just come right out and say he is an ugly figure. There's things about him I like, and then there's other things that just I don't care for at all. Let's probably start with things I don't care for. I don't like the face. He looks so old, and in fact, he also looks off-proportioned. It looks like his face has been squished down. Like he should be actually in a Lord of the Rings movie. And in Lord of the Rings, I don't mean Gandalf. No. I don't mean Gandalf. I mean like one of the little trolls or something like that. He's got like a little troll face. His face should be longer. But the problem is, if you make his face longer, he would not be scaled right to the rest of his body. Alright, so I've been told for every negative, you should put a positive in. Instead of just a put down, do a put up. So let's do a put up. I'm going to say one thing I really like about this Magneto is his cape. I like the cape, though I feel it doesn't, kind of just doesn't really adhere to anything. It's just free floating. In fact, you probably could take the cape, oh no, it's actually pegged on the underside. It just kind of flops around a little bit too much, but I do like the flow of the shoulders of the cape. That is a nice touch. All right, another put down. Well, he feels a little stocky. I guess really the problem with this Magneto is that he is slightly better than the Toy Biz version of Magneto that we got many moons ago. However, he's not as good as the Marvel Select Magneto. And definitively, I would say that the Marvel Select Magneto is probably the best Magneto, figure-wise, we have ever gotten. Let me take a trip down memory lane, and actually, for a second, I think Magneto was also one of those figures, and I think Storm was also the case as well. I think these were figures that were unreleased by Hasbro. I don't know if it was during that voting process thing, but I feel like this entire wave, actually, now that I think about it, including Strife, were all figures that were not produced before, but were rumored to be produced figures. They made some list where it was like, this figure could have been, but we decided not to, which I always find is a bit of a tease. But I think Magneto was actually part of it, and so was Storm, and so was Strife. I remember vividly Strife. Magneto also makes me think that because he's got the old leg articulation. He doesn't have the leg articulation that you get now. It's the kind that you have to swivel to move the leg out, swivel again to move the leg forward. Another thing I don't really care for with this figure is his cape. He has a problem that a lot of the DC Universe figures had, where the cape, because it's pre-posed and pre-sculpted, the cape jets in and therefore forces the legs out. Instead of the legs sitting further back like you really would want them to, the cape really just continues to push the legs forward. Sigh. He's not a bad-looking figure, but I feel like he's just a bit of a mess. The biceps also are kind of a little too big, I think, for the likes of Magneto. Or, again, he's proportioned really badly. His torso also seems really small. His torso, I think the problem is, like, they've tried to take a figure body that could have worked potentially with other figures, but they gave it way too big of a head, and the cape is way too big, that it just ultimately makes Magneto look stocky and a little hefty. But more importantly, though, that not crazy at all about that head sculpt. If you want to get yourself a definitive Magneto, I would say get the Marvel Select Magneto. That one is awesome. Also kind of reminds me of the classic X-Men arcade Magneto. For your articulation, Magneto's head is on a ball hinge joint, and as you can see, the head pops right out. I think what I might try to even do is take the head slightly out, just kind of wiggle it up. Wiggle it up as much as I can, and just kind of rest it higher up. That kind of fixes the problem, because if you have the head too far down, like the way it was packaged and the way it was manufactured, it does make it look like he has no neck whatsoever. Shoulders are also on a ball hinge joint. He does rotate at the bicep, single or double bend in the elbow, and he has a rotation in the gauntlet. It's odd that he has a rotation in the gauntlet and not a rotation in the hand. It doesn't look like he has any hand articulation. All of it is resting on the gauntlet end of it. He has the upper torso crunch, as well as a swivel in the waist. Still has that problem that the Toy Biz Magneto had, where the lower belt area is just loose. And I don't even think, actually, the Toy Biz Magneto didn't have the loose belt. The problem was he had that weird thing where his torso sat in this big cavity that was at his lower underoos. As we've already mentioned, his legs go forward and back out, but you have to rotate the leg in order to do that. Swivel in the thigh, a double bend at the knee, and a bend and rotation in the foot. I think Spot is actually right when it comes to these figures. Now that I'm actually looking through my little database, I'm going through my little filing cabinet, I'm actually pulling out the file. I'm pretty sure these were figures that were unreleased before and now are getting a released treatment. Sure, they've just kind of tacked on Jubilee and they've said, hey, we're throwing Jubilee in there, which I think Jubilee was also an unproduced figure as well. This whole wave, other than possibly Wolverine and possibly Cyclops, because those are newer looking figures, I think all the rest of them are all re-releases. Sure, they've changed Storm slightly. Strife could be slightly changed, but I feel like Magneto has stayed the same. The end result, though, is a figure that, if you ask me, still doesn't live up to the Marvel Select Magneto. For that reason, Magneto here, I'm only going to give him a 7. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series, Jubilee Series, Magneto. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. More videos heading your way, certainly covering the rest of this Jubilee wave. Thanks for watching, as you always do. Let's get Magneto posed nicely. There we go. Thanks for watching, as you always do, guys. I'll see you next time.